Hello. This is the second video of Proverbs 29. This is the next 9 verses. We're going to start at verse 10. It says, "The bloodthirsty hate a person of integrity and seek to kill the upright. Fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end." It's kind of like we were talking about in the last video, right? "If a ruler listens to lies, all his officials become wicked. The poor and the oppressor have this in common: the Lord gives sight to the eyes of both. If a king judges the poor with fairness, his throne will be established forever. A rod and a reprimand impart wisdom, but a child left undisciplined disgraces its mother. When the wicked thrive, so does sin, but the righteous will see their downfall. Discipline your children, and they will give you peace. They will bring you the delights you desire. When there is no revelation, people cast off restraint, but blessed is the one who heeds wisdom's instruction." So I went ahead, and I know it's kind of faint on the screen, so you might not be able to see it that well. But verses 12 and 14, 15, 17, and 18 are highlighted. The first two are in yellow, and the last three are in green. And those are to represent the different, the most important themes that I see in this book. Or in this set of verses here. Now I will say, in the last video, I meant to type in that last theme, which was essentially that people in power are to walk in wisdom. I don't know, I mean, there are a lot of different ways that you could phrase that, but that was basically the point that I was trying to convey, and that point is conveyed throughout this particular chapter, and certainly, even in this set of verses here, when you look at verses 12 and 14. And so what it's saying, essentially, is that rulers are to conduct themselves, or rather hold themselves to a certain standard, the standard of righteousness. So let me write that. Rulers are to hold themselves to the standard righteousness. What does that mean? That means, just like the verse, verses 12 and 14, it means they are not to be corrupt they are not to corrupt themselves by being untruthful in any way. They are to be fair in the way that they judge people. And those aren't those the same things that we expect our government to do today? Yeah, that's why it's important for our government to really heed the instruction of Scripture, because a lot of the things that we prioritize in terms of ideas and rules and structures of our government have already been prescribed for us in Scripture. A lot of the same concepts that we see in our founding documents, that we see in our Constitution and our our Declaration of Rights, Declaration of Independence. A lot of that we see right here in the Bible. So we would do well to really examine the instructions that have already been laid out for us. And so to our second point, which is talking about children. There are a plethora of different parenting approaches, and it's not for me to say which one is the best, which one is the worst, or to try to rank them. But when you look at these three verses here, 15, 17, and 18, it's clear that there needs to be, well, let me put it this way. It is incumbent upon the parent to put rules in place for the child so that the child is rooted, and so that when he or she comes of age, he or she does not become unable to live righteously. And so those rules have to be rooted in wisdom. And this kind of ties into that famous scripture, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he grows old, he will not depart from it. That's what this is saying. And whether this is, specifically referring to, physical discipline, I don't know. I certainly would not prescribe that personally. But one thing I will say is that it is very important, very, very, very important, especially as we progress in time and we move into a more secular era, that we maintain the importance of boundaries, and that we teach standards, and that we teach principle, as quote unquote old-fashioned or traditional as they may be, because those are the things that are going to ensure that our children do not go off course. So I hope that you all keep that in mind, when that becomes relevant to you. It's very important. And you also see, that's what Moses was trying to do, right? Moses was saying, in Deuteronomy, he recognized that the instructions, the commandments that the Lord had given his generation had to be sustained, for future generations. And that, he was mindful of that. Because he recognized that in order for the people as a whole to be successful in the long term, certain standards had to be maintained in order for that to happen.